What's up, everyone? This is weird. I'm not used to not seeing myself with the camera. Well, this is a draw stream, so you guys aren't going to get to see me. You're going to get to see my work. You're going to get to see me do where we go. Go on the opposite. We're going to do some work on this page right here of Black and White Sins of the Father, Volume 3. So probably going to be working in this area here. That's what I got the camera set up for. So we got some robots driving a ambulance of all things. So excuse me, this thing right here is the steering wheel. So yeah, it's been a while since I've live streamed. So I might be a little rusty. I might say a few things that are strange and weird and odd, but actually that wouldn't be any different than any other live stream that I've done in the past. So hope everybody's well. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday. We did. We had some relatives come in, and they drove 14 hours to get here, and they spent three nights. How many days? 1, 2, 3 days. 3 days, 3 nights, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun catching up, swapping stories of the old days. I was talking to my cousin the other day, um, and she's a little older than I am, and she said we are now the oldest living family. So all of our uncles, grandparents, parents, they're all gone. So that's kind of strange to think that you would be the oldest living family member. Like I said, she's a couple years older than I am, uh, but it's her. It would be her, Pamela, and me. So we're the oldest of the group. So that doesn't mean that we're the next to go because it doesn't always happen that way. So don't get nervous. Don't get scared. So let me see. Let me see what you guys are. Oh man, we got the Bean Pad. What's up, man? Yeah, hi art. Amazing as always. Yeah, this black and white stuff is coming along. I'm really, really happy with all of it. And no compromise. You know, get it right and work on it until you do get it right. We got Brent Mackey 279, and he says, "Hi Art, how are you? I'm doing fine, man. Hope you're doing fine too." Arturo Tibius. Hey, hey, hey. Leg Kick has come to snuff the rooster. Hey, thank you, Crazy Cat. Yeah, I do have a campaign up on Indiegogo. It's called Sins of the Father, black and white. And this is what I'm going to be working on right here, Sins of the Father. So let me start getting stuff going. And you guys, as always, these are interactive streams. So feel free to ask questions, crack jokes, tell me I missed a spot, you know, all that other good stuff. So I'm a little rusty. That's the first things I've done today. So I think I'm just gonna, this is not good. I'm gonna have to lean into it. Cameras are always awkward. So I don't quite have this system down. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to ink like this because this is way over here. My head is over here. So this is my natural position. Let me see if I can get this. It was pretty perfect. Let me see if I can get this over a little bit without jarring you guys. I apologize. Yeah, I want to go over. I want to go over. Yeah, this way. I need two hands. Sorry about this, guys. I don't really do these draw streams very often. Let me see. Get it over here. It's not quite as good, but I can work. Let me see if I can. Can't really move it over much more. Maybe I can make it closer. So once again, I do apologize. Just in the camera. Camera is not available. Let me see. Here we go. Let's see how this looks. Okay. Like I said, you guys, sorry about that. And guess what? I don't have my French curve. You're going to get to see the back of my head. I got to go into my tool shed here. I get my French curve. Oh, I apologize. Wow. So this is going to have a lot of French curve work on it. So I'm going to do some of these curves. Yeah, so the reason I haven't been live streaming very much, you guys, is because I got lots of work to do. And I hope this is working. Yeah, my face gets right in there. And I should check this out a little bit better before I set it up. Oh, this is going to be a little strange. Maybe if I can't make this any lower. Hold on. Maybe I can. Let's see. Yeah, by doing that, you can't see my head. My head is not in the shot. By the time this live stream is over, I'll have this all worked out. And then it will be time to go. I think this is working better, so yeah. Okay, let me see what you guys talk about in the chat. We got Joe Bernardo. Aloha Art, hey brother, how do you handle the dry brush effects on clouds, explosions? I'm not inking any of those today, but I'll keep that in mind in the future. I guess the way I could describe it is you have your brush. So obviously use a brush. Don't put a ton of ink on it. It really depends on how big the area is, how controlled it is, how gray tone you want some of the dry brush to look. It really is tricky, and it's all kind of by feel. So there's no real hard, fast rules to it. One of the tricks is if you have an area that you want it to be more solid black, start there and then kind of work out. So the idea is that there'll be a lot of or more ink on the brush. So if you start with that area and then kind of work out, You'll get rid of some of that ink, and then you'll have more of a chance to gray it. The other way, it all depends on how you want it to look, like what effect you want. But if you kind of want just a gray tone, like a textured gray tone, you can just on a spare, like a sheet of paper on the side, just start kind of going back and forth with the brush with the ink on it. And then when you get to that texture or that texture and shade you like, then bring that over to the board and then do that. So you can kind of build it up like you can a pencil, like pencil shading. So you can kind of like the idea that you're building up. Then you can overlap the brush strokes, stuff like that. So it's pretty hard to explain. It's kind of more of one of those. It's easier if you see it. I've always been one of those artists that if I could see somebody do it, then I could probably do it. So I'm like more visual. So like learning it in a book is a little bit more. It's a little abstract to me versus seeing somebody that can do it. I remember this is so strange, but this is before the internet. They used to have these painters that worked in the mall, and they would do like portraits of people and stuff like that. You could hire these guys, and they would paint, and the malls would always have those big windows. You know what? I think I might get a thicker pen here. Sometimes you want a thicker pen. So one of the things I do so I can see them because they're all the same is like certain pens I'll put tape on them so I know like that's the thicker pin tip. So let me see. I'll bring this in, see if it works better. Yeah. Uh and the reason why this tip versus the other is because it's a bigger scale image. This is pretty big on the page. And bigger scale images or things closer to the camera or the eye, you want to have a thicker line. In the old days, they used to really, really exaggerate, and depending on who I would eat, sometimes I would do that. Like if it was more cartoony or playful, you can get away with that. If it's a little more realistic, you want to keep a little bit more of a mono line to it, even line. Let me see. Okay. So yeah. So this is giving me a better, thicker line than I would normally have got with that other pin. That other pin is kind of an overall, like a, let me see what thickness it is. I'm using these, I don't even know what the hell these are. Point liners, Pentels. See, you can read this one better. Some of it's worn off. I use them so much. So I can't really use the nibs and brushes the way I used to. I got arthritis in my hands, so it's harder to hold the tools the way I used to. So I use these. They're just easier to hold and they don't hurt my hands. So yeah, this is an 0.5 and this one is worn off. And this, you can see it's all worn off right there. And so you can't see, but it's kind of a middle, like line weight. like just a good general line weight. Good question about the dry brush, Joe. I hope I did an okay job of explaining it. It's kind of hard without seeing, without being able to show you, I guess. And there's another thing. Don't be afraid to kind of move the board around. It's kind of an inker thing. It's not great for displays like this, but it does help because you can move the page to the shape or the angle that you need it to be. So it's not impossible to talk and work, but it's a little tough. I got some stuff to show you too. Um, Arrow, stop. Arrow, stop it. He's looking. He is leaking. We've been trying to change his diet. He's looking a little too much. By the way, Arrow is my dog. And don't be afraid to go back on lines and thicken them up because as the piece progresses, you can kind of see certain line weights might not be servicing the piece very well. So you can go in and thicken things up. I am a believer in like being a little bit more, especially when you first start a page or you're kind of a beginner inker. Go thinner. Don't don't go too thick at the beginning because you can always build a line. It's a lot tougher to diminish the line because then you have to bring in white paint and it's just this whole ordeal, which is a pain in the butt. I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on. I had to yell at the dog again. It's like being a parent all over again. Let's see. Do you like full drawn blacks on areas or the X's? It depends. I knew that I was going to, do this as a live stream, so I kind of went full pencil on this. But when I'm inking myself, without a display, I usually just put an X in. I sometimes like this third panel here. I'm not real happy. This one right here. I'm not real happy with it, and I kind of I work differently. Sometimes I did all the structure stuff, and then I just did all the rendering, like the black areas and all that. I did that I just made it up. Let me see. I don't know if this camera is being cool or not. So So sometimes it work well, more often than not, it works out for me. But that third panel, I don't think it worked as well as I was hoping. So I'm probably going to rework it slightly. But that's the thing I do like about working for you guys versus working for Marvel and DC. I know this isn't going to sound great, but there's a little bit more time and less compromise. And I know it sounds bad because you're like, well, we want the book too, and I understand that. But the way I feel at this point in my career is I've done a lot of compromising in the past, and I'm just kind of tired of it. I want to I want to put out artwork that I really like, that I'm really happy with, that I'm proud of the way it came out. And so, sometimes that means you got to draw and redraw or whatever, and so that's what I do. So this is what I call structuring it in. So I'm kind of just going over the lines. I like to try to get the line weights right, and then for me, see, I went back and thickened up that ear piece because this character is way in the foreground. So you want to give him a little heavier line because the heavier the line implies that it's in front of the other robots. So it's kind of an inker comic book trick where the lines that are in the foreground are thicker than the ones in the midground, and those are thicker than the ones in the background. So that's kind of the way you want to look at it, and there's all kinds of variations of that. Like I was saying, I mean, it depends on the style. Sometimes you might, get a little bit crazier with the thins and thicks, foreground versus background. Um, and sometimes you might want to make it a little bit subtler because the artwork is more realistic or serious. So the more cartoony you can kind of be playful at it. So that was a straight line across. The reason I used the ruler is because sometimes when you're inking things that are interrupted, like this piece that I inked, it actually goes all the way behind the character. So you have to think about things three-dimensionally. And sometimes if you don't ink it with a connecting tool like a ruler or a French curve, then sometimes these lines can go in different directions. And by going in different directions, they won't look like they're part of the same thing anymore. So always be aware of that. So if an image or an object is being broken, you always have to kind of think through it, so it doesn't look disconnected. And that goes for you know just about anything you're inking. That if something gets interrupted, like let's just say instead of his lower uh, jaw or chin area. Let's just say it was an arm, like from the background or something like that. You have to still like if the arm. Let me see if there's an example of something. Like let's just say like this part of her right here, her side, and then it continues past this energy. So you have to ink this almost like it's one like ink through this energy so you can have this all connect up. It's kind of a bad example of what I'm talking about, but, here's one too, like right here on her leg. There's the leg line here, energy, and then the leg continues. So you gotta make this part look like it projects in the same direction as this one. So even though it's interrupted, you have to kinda ink it like it's one. So one of the tricks you can do, it's like I was showing you with that piece under the jaw, is you can set up like a French curve. I hope you guys can see this. So you set this up, and so then the idea is that this part of the let me get rid of this. That this top part of the line connects with the bottom part of so they look like it's still her thigh. Because if you change, like, let's just say you weren't conscious of that, you could ink this line to where it starts going in this direction. So if you did, let me see, get the pencil out. If you did and you followed that out, you could see that this right here is not following the same pattern as this. So you want to make sure of that. I hope that's a really good like thing to consider when you're drawing and inking. You have to draw kind of through things, ink kind of through things, so you can make sure that the two pieces work as one. So even though they're interrupted, you want them to look like it's the same. Okay. This is so unnatural for me to ink like this. Kind of inking around a camera here. Trying to be aware of what you guys are seeing. If I did this more, I think I'd get it down. I always tell myself I want to do it more, but it always just becomes tough. Because you're like, I just want to set up or just sit down and draw. You don't always want to set up a camera and all that other good stuff. I'm thinking maybe some of this problem could be a lack of light. Well, I can't reach it. Yeah, I'll do this again and I'll try to work some of these kinks out, you guys. I hope that the images are good enough that you can tell what I'm saying, what I'm doing. So I don't know if you guys are like me, the artists out there listening, but most of the time, there's nothing I would rather do than what I'm doing with this marker right now. It's just draw, just create, and you can see like I'm kind of building up the hands on the steering wheel a little bit more, a little thicker. So it looks like it's in the foreground. I'm going to use, because this line right here is very important, and it's a little difficult to make it work freehand. So it's just so much easier to do it this way. And if you saw me kind of tip these ends, that makes it thicker here and thicker there and thinner in the middle. So it's kind of a way to get some movement to the piece, to the line, I mean. And so this one I did freehand, and you go, well, why did you do that one? It's thicker and it's bigger than that one. Just this is more delicate and it's more it has to be right. You can't, because like these things I can go and I can thicken up the line a little bit. I can play with it. You know, these structures here, but this you can't. You know, it's got to be set, and also it's symmetrical. So like I did these all freehand. This one's symmetrical, so the left and right have. I mean, these are symmetrical too, but you can't really see them as readily as this. So it's just kind of you. The more you do this, the more you learn, and you learn the limitations of what you can do, and also just the look that you want to create. So if you want it to look more, you know, I guess freehand or more organic looking, well then you can do it freehand. But if you want to make it look more controlled, then it's better to use the tool. And once again, this is a big image on the page. So if that was smaller, like this size, whatever, I would have done it freehand. So there's things that just work better, you know, freehand, and some things that work better when it's not. You just kind of, you know, once again, like what look are you going for, and then like how's the best way to achieve that. And you can see these little things here. I doubled and tripled them up because I wanted them to look less like these more linear lines, just to kind of break things up, give it some depth. Got all this. Most of the structure is all put in. So some of the shadows are blocked in. So I could either go over to those other robots and start working on those, or I can start doing rendering on this one. I like sometimes where, I don't know if you can see it well right here, where there's a couple lines that lead into the black. So to me, the idea there is that it's kind of the light slowly going into the black, so almost like a fade into the, you know, where the light is coming in, and so as it goes into the shadow, it kind of fades into it. At least that's kind of the mindset. Some things you might go, oh, that just looks really arbitrary, but I like to try to give a reason for the stuff, because if I can come up with a reason for it, then I can, every time I do something, I can kind of use that same idea and use that. So I'm going to freehand these just because I don't want to line it up with the template. So now I gotta make sure I focus, and I got a thinner tip. So if I did this with the thicker one, it would it could get away from me easier. That one got away from me a little bit, but that's why the good Lord made whiteout, because he knew I was going to screw that one up. So with like little areas like of detail, I just feel more confident using the thinner line. And so the reason I did the two out, the the vertical, is just because the way the page in my hand was set up. So then this, it's more natural the way my hand moves. And I want to make it look inset. So the trick to make things look inset is to put a thicker line. So what I did is I put thicker line on top and the side, and then a thinner, and then a thinner, and it gives the illusion that it's inset. It's just like a little inker trick that you guys can try. So I obviously think a lot more, and I don't know if most inkers put this kind of thought into it, or if they just kind of go over the lines. I mean, there's a lot of different takes and approaches, but this is just mine, and I think they kind of come down to your like personality, like who you are. Some people are a little bit more tight and controlled, and some people are a little bit more organic and sloppy. As if you're a trained inker and you do this for a living, you gotta kind of learn to do both, because it helps if you have range. Then you can work on a lot of different styles, and that'll help you get work down the line. So right now I'm structuring up some of these shadow renderings, like hatching that I do. And then we'll get into some of the knuckle details on this guy. You can see I'm doubling up the line a lot with this pin, like going over the same line. It's because it is thinner. So with the thicker pin, you can just kind of do it in a one-off. It's kind of the advantage of if you use a brush. I'm going to thicken this up a little bit because it's inset. The trick I showed you guys. Yeah, I forgot where I was going. So let's get some of the steering wheel details in. Well, for the most part, I didn't. You know what? I should do it. I told myself, Art, you're going to do it. You're going to do it live. You're going to show these fine folks that are investing their time in what you're doing. You're going to show them. Okay, so I'm going to ink this circle. And they're not always the easiest. Excuse me, I have to drink some water. The thing about circles is the trick is always to line them up. this template right here, this thing is probably 35 years old. So you can see where some of the older tape and things were here. I think this was a template. They used to supply a lot of the templates to my assistants at the old Hack Shack Studios, and I think this stuff is from the old Danny Mickey days. I think he glued these plastic little circular pieces on here. Let's see. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's got the old sticky glue underneath it. You don't want sticky glue all over your artwork. But yeah, so this wasn't a raised for ink template. So what we did is we taped pieces under it. And I think the reason these are there is because I was using specifically, so I didn't do the whole thing or redo the whole thing with those little glue tabs. But you want it to be raised because if you use ink, ink can get trapped under the template. So you can kind of see these areas here. I don't know if that's what happened, but let's just say it did. It could get under the template and then just bleed under the template. And then, of course, whatever's here is on your board as well. So that's kind of the template. And I'll show you while I'm talking about templates. These things are awesome. And Matthew, what's his name? I forget his name, but I worked with him on The Outsiders, and then we did some Doom Patrol together. And throughout the years, we worked quite a bit with each other. And so he would draw with these. So, like, just what you'd think would be organic, he would template it all. And then I was noticing it's like that some of the templates I had would fit these curves. And so I asked him, I said, are you drawing like the figure, everything with a template? And he said, yeah. So I just felt if I had the same templates, I could ink him better. So what these are is these are older templates. These don't go with the set, but these pickets, they're like within 15% of each other. So this is a 15%, not 15%, 5% of each other. So this is a 15%. So then the one underneath would have been 10, and the one after that is 20. So I do believe they go in increments of 5. So every possible curve or ellipse that you could need are here. And it was a little expensive, but I'm telling you, if you are serious about doing this, this thing is really, really beneficial. And they're made well. And also you can see these little nubs. Those are so you could ink with them. These things right here. Yeah. So they already have all that stuff I was telling you built in. Because like this, you could tell this thing's ancient. This thing's probably 40 years old. Look, it's all falling apart. But some of these ellipses in the day, I couldn't find anywhere. So when you find a good template like this one, you hold on to it, and you can see this thing's well loved. It's all falling apart, you know. But in the old days, you used to just go to drafting places, art supply places, and just look at their templates. And sometimes they would have one that you don't have. And so then you buy it. It doesn't matter. You buy it because they're so hard to find, or in the day they used to be hard to find. But this Picket set, it's so amazing, and you can see they're all in a mess right now because that's another thing you have to put them back in order. But you can see these little clips; they clip into the binder, so they can all be in order. Like I said, of increments of 5. Here's one of the old school templates. You can see the tape on them. So that's what we used to have to do. So anything that you see green in my stuff, it's old. Look at I used to have to put my initials on things because the other guys would have templates too, and so sometimes we would swap. If somebody had a template that fit the curve better, you borrow somebody else's tools. So that's that, and it's the Picket ellipse set, and there's two of them. So there's this one, and they're different sizes. So this one goes from whatever half-inch to 2-inch, um, and then this one here. Let's see. This one goes from 2 1/8 to 4 inches. So they make them. Look at some of these curves. They're huge. That's what she said. Yeah, they're massive, and so anything bigger than that, you're pretty much SOL. So you're either going to have to freehand it or figure out a way to kind of do the curves piecemeal uh, with the ellipses that you have. So let me see. I think these are the same templates. Yeah, they are. Sometimes you buy backups. These. This one is slightly. No, they're the same size. So which one should I use? I'm going to use this one. And so I'll probably botch this because I'm trying to show you how to do it for real, the right way. So here's my circle. So you can kind of see when I penciled this, you can see the X here, the lines going this way and this way. And if you look close, you can kind of see some of the underlaid structure. So one of the things, if you draw like a front, like some people think, well, it's easier to just do a formal front, shot. But the key to that is like this side has to be the same as this side. So all these dimensions have to be the same. So if you start with the center, then you can build out this way and you can build out this way. So you can make sure that this size from here to here is the same as this from here to here. And if it's not, it'll look weird. And trust me, it'll be less convincing. So you want to make sure that you get those things right. And so I went counterintuitive. See where the tape, I flipped it. Because the one thing about if it's raised, it'll cast a shadow. So since I'm using a pin, wait a minute. What is going on here? Is this the size? Yeah. So you want to make sure that you line it up. And the thing that's kind of strange, and I can't really do it, but you can move your light so the shadow isn't cast. So whatever the direction the light's going in is where the shadow is going to get cast on your template. So always be a little aware of that. And then with the tool, try to hold it as straight up and down as you can. Because if you angle it, you're going to change the width of it. Of the line, I should say. So the reason I'm going over it multiple times is because I wanted the line to be thicker. I nailed the line, but it's really thin. I probably should have used that thicker pin, but you can see it's pretty accurate. And then maybe since I said that, I'll get the thicker pin out and I'll do, oh, you know what? Oh, man. Let me see. No, see this one right here? This one will mess you up. This is a fine pin, and you don't want that for anything this size. So here's the thicker pin, thicker tip. So let's line up the outside circle is here. Let's see if this is the one. And if you have that X, see these lines right here? This one, this one, this one, this one. That represents the center of the circle. So if I was smart, I could line this up with the pencil line I did. But yeah, it's pretty good. So, and then I'll just go over it. And then go over it. And so sometimes don't worry about drawing into, and the reason I did that is because because I couldn't see it. So you can see the space from here to here is different from there to there. So the template wasn't registered properly. So what I can do is I can go out and pick in this one. And so then you can see it. So then with whiteout, I can take that inside line out, or digitally I can do that. And then here is another thing you can do. Let me see. In here is to add some depth to this circle. What you can do is, like, you got your circle. You guys can see that. You can add like a thicker line across the top. And you can see how then it starts looking dimensional. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of a pencil line here that I did in here. And so it's this scale, it's really hard to just kind of go in there and freehand it, which most of the time I do, but I want to show you guys how to do it the right way. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. Okay, so I think it's this circle. So then you basically set it up like you did before, but you kind of misregister it. You bring it down slightly, and then you just kind of draw your line. Again. So you can see it kind of has some depth to it. And so I wanted to kind of transition a little smoother. So I'm doing this freehand. So there it is. There's the tips on how to screw up a templated circle. Let's get these little details around the eyes. All right, so he's pretty much structured in. That's robot number one. I still have some rendering to do. Don't worry, I will do it. I will do it because I'm all about completing the task. I got some shadows here and blocking those in. And some of these I'm going to fill in. And the reason I'm going to fill in is so you guys can see some of this stuff start to pop. I also penciled this a pretty heavy. I use a soft, like lead, so it's pretty dark. So you can see it's starting to pop a little bit. So I have some other stuff because I was thinking we'll just make this a robot stream. So I got some robot stuff that I want to show you guys. But let me catch up in the chat. I can see it's moving. It's grooving. I had to get some water. Hydrate, you guys. Always hydrate. It's the key to life. Whoa, you guys have really been on fire here. Sorry. All right. We got Marcus is in the house. Wait a minute. This can't be. This can't be. It is. We got Wildman Actual. He is in the house. We got Buzz. What's up, Buzz? Hail, hail, hail. We got Imperfect. Is that Rudy? Or is that Imperfect Rudy? Sorry. This is cool. What are we up to? We are up to inking panel 4 of Black and White Sins of the Father. Yeah. So getting stuff done, multitasking, entertaining the masses while getting work done. Imperfect says, what's the story of this comic? It really looks cool. Wait a minute, Imperfect. You need to hit one of these links they're posting in the chat if you do not know. And if you like what you see, you can back one of these books. They are up on Indiegogo right now. So we got some of the mods posting in the link. You can click that, or you can go into the description. There's a link there as well. So this is Black and White, Volume 3, Sins of the Father. This is my Create Your Own comic book. I am writing, penciling, and inking. I am working with Aaron Sparrow, and I'm working with my wife on the writing. And I am working with Alan Patrick on the artwork. So he is providing breakdowns or layouts, basic layouts, and then I'm using those layouts and kind of, you can see I'm starting to draw things in and work stuff out. I like this first panel a lot. I think this is pretty cool. I like the way she's coming in from the left into the right, and that how it kind of crosses over, and all the actions come in this way. And then the baton, it's kind of like a finger pointing where I want you to go. So here, and then you see this movement coming up here. And also this still helps you come down. So if you look at all these, it's something I do, and I think I do it innately. where you follow this staff, there's the staff, and then there's the staff. So they're all kind of lined up, compositionally. So sometimes I just like really simple background figures. I like that lady. Um, so yeah, so that's what this is, and it's on Indiegogo, up on Indiegogo now, Imperfect, and you can go check it out. And if you like what you see, you can back the book. So that's what I'm working on. And you know what? You know what I'll do? Imperfect. Here we go. Here we go. I don't know why it takes me so long sometimes, but this is Black and White Sins of the Father. So this is the Indiegogo campaign. Let me play the video. Yeah, I love this video. So cool, you guys. Also, we are celebrating our 30th anniversary. This book came out 30 years ago through Image Comics, 3-issue miniseries. And so that's where the 3-0 comes in play. So these guys have been with me for a while. The dream never died. These characters never died. And I am just so fortunate for Comicsgate and you guys allowing me to bring back Black and White. So Black, this character in Black, his name is Reed Blackett, aka Black, and the White character is Whitney Sung, aka White. And so Reed was from an elite squad of robot hunters with the MI10. MI10 is the division of MI6. So kind of James Bond, but in a tech kind of way. So Reed Blackett was a robot hunter, killer/killer, and so he understood robots, the psychology of them, how they work, how their brains work, and in this reality, sentience is against the law. So you could imagine there's a lot of people that would want to play with that, mess with that, and create or wreak havoc with that. So that's where MI10 come into play. So Reed has a lot of experience in that, but he became disillusioned with the organization, the spy organization. He no longer found it easy to kill on command, to just follow orders, to not think about the repercussion or ramifications of his actions. So he still had that altruistic wanting to serve and basically help humanity or be their kind of defense against bad. And so he could no longer do that job, the MI10 job. So he just thought, well, maybe I should just take a break from all of it. And so when he was doing that, he and his partner Brooks Gray decided import-export business. Let's start, in the private sector. Let's help people that way. And so then he met Whitney Sung. All that story is in volume 1 and 2, which is available on this campaign. So those great introduction to the concept and the ideas. So they had a strong attraction to each other. So then She was a girl in trouble, but not necessarily needed to be rescued in the traditional sense of the damsel in distress. She was very capable, but almost too capable because she just wanted vengeance. She didn't want justice. So Reed, since he had been down that path with MI10, he decided that maybe if he helped mentor her or helped her along, that she wouldn't go down that dark path that he saw her definitely going towards. So the black and white personas were created, and so Reed found a new purpose, a new way to serve, protect his fellow man alongside Whitney Sung. So that's kind of the gist of it. So the black and white justice was formed. So in a world where law and order is often blurred to gray, justice can only be black and white. So he's kind of they're kind of spy vigilantes. So with a lot of superhero stuff thrown in there. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty compelling. It has all the things that interest me, which is like James Bond, superheroes, you know, um, espionage, supernatural. We're bringing more supernatural elements to this book. There are supernatural elements to issues 1 and 2, but they're not as overt as they are in this issue. Issue 3 and 4 will become it'll be way more supernatural, as you could tell by the video I already played. But there's still going to be a lot of robot interaction. They live in a future tense story. I don't want to pin it down to one actual timeline, but it's our future, and it's a future that is inhabited by robots. There's a lot of robots in their world. So here's some interiors. We also have volume 2 of the High Octane book. This is the Pedro Eng book that I introduced last campaign, and we did very, very well with High Octane 1. So we're bringing it back for this campaign, which is High Octane 2. These are 22-page one and dones. So they're not multi-part stories like the main books are. So then we have variant covers. So we have the A cover, the B cover, done by me and Kyle Ritter, the brilliant colorist. And then we have some jams by Carlo Barberi and myself. That's this white cover. It's just iconic, man. That guy just knows his stuff. And then, of course, CG's own John Malin. No jam there, just pure John Malin goodness. So then we get some better images of the covers. And then we just added some cool t-shirts. So we got a black and white t-shirt. We got the white one here. We got the black one with Juju, who's the big bad, one of the big bads in the story. And so you can get the black and white t-shirts in a tier for a discounted price if you get both of them. And we have all sizes. And we do have some original artwork, you guys. And when you get a chance, come by and check it out and see what stretch goals we have. We got a ton of cool stretch goals, and we are coming up on the 40K stretch goal, which is the 30th anniversary patch. So it'll be this logo right here in the form of a patch. And if you have backed our campaigns in the past, you know how killer those patches are. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much. And that should help Imperfect to illustrate what black and white is. So let's see. Joe always has cool insight. Let me see here. A rule Bob Layton taught me that organic stuff can be inked freehand, but i.e. metal buildings should be inked with straight edges, French curves. Yep, that's my philosophy as well. How do you feel about that? I feel exactly the same way. There is a something you can do if you want to kind of make things look more organic. Like you can see, you saw me ink this robot. I used templates and I did freehand. So if you have good freehand skills, you can still do something very technical looking, but you know, but you can do it freehand. And the freehand mix, where the freehand is the idea behind it is the freehand's a little bit imperfect, and then the template stuff is perfect. So then things that are too perfect become boring. So if you can break it up between the two, freehand and then template, then you can have some cool hybrid where you get the energy and the movement of the freehand, but then you also have the technicality or the perfect line of the tool. So I do agree. I do agree. Bob Layton's a smart guy, very talented dude. Sheldon, what's up? Is there a certain amount of panels per page you aim for? My comfort zone is 5. I'm not a big 6-panel guy. 5 and under is where I like big images. So this page, all these panels with the exception of the inset, are pretty big. Let me see if I can move this slowly so the camera doesn't bounce around. And then this last panel right here, this is Whitney in the rear view mirror of the truck. So this is a giant mirror. This is part of the robot and part of the robot. Here's part of the window frame. And so then she'll be running to catch up with the vehicle because the previous page she got thrown off the ambulance. Which, having said that, you know what? I'm gonna share some more. I'm sharing my heart, my soul with you guys. So these are the setup pages. So this is I think 2 pages or a page back. No, this is 2 pages back. Wait a minute, I just dropped my marker. Okay, so yeah, I had to put some stuff down so I could use my mouse. So this is 2 pages back. So the ambulance is taking away Gray. I don't want to give too much away, but he's in the ambulance. So she realizes something isn't right. So then she goes and chases after the ambulance. So she leaps. These suits give them extra strength and agility, speed, all that good stuff, and a certain level of invulnerability. So they can take a bullet, small explosions, things like that. So then I like this aspect. I didn't do it too much in the last issue, but the baton that's in her hand here, those, let me see, here and here, those are batons, but then she can snap them and they'll turn into a staff. So she can have like lasers on the ends and use it as a staff. So I thought this came out pretty cool. Once again, it's kind of like my thing with these staffs where they all kind of line up. So you can kind of follow them. It's almost like animation. So then she lands on top of the van, the ambulance, rips off the door, throws it, and then swings her way into the ambulance. So you can see Gray in the foreground. So that's the setup. And then there's Brooks Gray right there. And then the next page, she's reacting. The robots are reacting to her. And so she just goes and just in attack mode. She realizes that these robots are not good. So she goes and attacks them, cuts that one in half. Then the one bum rushes her and knocks her out of the ambulance. And so then she lands on this car. So that kind of leads up to the page I'm working on now. Not kind of, it does. I dig this shot right here. I think it came out really cool. I might have overdone it with the action lines behind her, but I wanted to show that things were moving. It's hard to do because you're inside of something, but the background's moving. So I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, it might have been overdone, but we'll see how it colors up. Sometimes the color can simplify it in a strange way with all the lines. So anyway, that is that. Ooh, need to get the drawing board back here. Set it up. So yeah, that's and then yeah, so then she's still on the car, but she's sliding across. Robot jumps back, is gonna attack her, and then the staff, like I already explained, kind of shoves it through the bottom of his chin or his jaw, and then she's landing on the ground. There's gonna be some action lines. You can't really see them. So she's landing, and then the robot is falling in front of her, and then you get one of those kind of incredible moments. It's like that was awesome. So that's probably what this lady will be saying. And then we cut inside the ambulance. So he'll be saying something like, "We need backup," kind of thing. We're not done with her yet. And so then here's the rear view mirror of her running to get back in there to save Brooks Gray. So there you go, storytelling, baby. And like I said, you guys, if you haven't backed Black and White or want to know more about it, click these links. It'll take you right over there. And if you like what you see, pick up a book. Leg kick, RT Bear, is there a particular inking technique you prefer or like the outcome best? Well, at this point, I I would like to probably ink a little sloppier, more organic. And when I do commissions, especially the headshots, I do with a brush and ink wash. So it's not quite as controlled as this. And I do like it a lot. So I would like to eventually do a comic book in that style if I ever get the opportunity to do something like that. I think it would be fun. I really like styles like Sean Gordon Murphy and some of the more old school guys that used a brush, and it wasn't quite as controlled looking. So I think I would like to do something like that. Greetings. What's up, Well Read Comics? 9246. Art, what do you think of the inking I'm doing? Oh, dude, you're freaking killing it. Yeah, Joe's working on a create your own book, and he shows me some behind the scenes stuff every once in a while, and it's progressing really nicely. Rachel Brinkley, 3240. Wait a minute, there was another number here. What was that? Are you guys related? 9246. Nah, with all these numbers. Rachel says, "Hi, everyone." We almost named our daughter Rachel, but my wife said no because that dumb Rachel character from Friends, she thought everybody would go, "Oh, you named it after that actress in that show." And I said, "No, we don't want that. We don't want that at all." She says, "Cools." 35. So 90? Exactly. We got a moral fat 40 ouncer. What's up, brother? Marcus Killigrew. Do. You guys are all friends hanging out. I like that. That's one of the more fun aspects to this is that, I get to hang out with you guys, but you guys get to hang out with each other as well. Let me see. Marcus says, I have green templates, but Art, isn't that much older than me? It could be. Yeah, the green ones actually are easier to see. Those tan ones that are in that Picket set that I showed you, they're a little harder because the green you can see the gray pencil line easier. I have a bunch of green templates from my engineering and surveying career. Yeah. Nowadays, they do everything on the computer digitally. I wonder how long it has taken Art to get to this point of the page. Um, well, you're finding out right now. Dare I ask what HS in HS Comics stands for? Hack Shack. So, real quick story. Hack Shack Studios in the day in the 90s, I ran a studio I had an assistant. And so it just seemed like, let's get a studio name. So I just came up with the worst possible name you could come up with, which was a hack. A hack is a term for somebody who does work poorly. And I thought it'd be funny because that's obviously not what we did. We did really, really high end stuff. And so I called it Hack Shack Studios. And I remember I made letterhead. And so in those days, you used to fax things out. And so I remember I was working with Jim Lee and Wills and Scott Williams, and they didn't have a name for a studio yet. So I think I was talking to Wills. So then I get a fax back from Wills that now has Homage Studios letterhead on it. So I feel I started the whole studio naming thing. So Hack Shack Studios, I believe, gave birth to Homage Studios, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, and I remember Jim giving me a lecture, Jim Lee saying, Art, you might want to reconsider that HS because hacks are they're known for like bad work. I said, yeah, I know. It's kind of funny. And he goes, okay. And then I held my tongue because I thought homage was a little pretentious, but I didn't want to lecture him the same way he lectured me. He was just trying to help. He was just trying to help. But yeah, that's the quick Hack Shack Studios idea. Let me see. Imperfect. This is a great story, a spy hero story of a neo cyber world, a Green Hornet, Batman, and Robin, James Bond mashup uh, with great art, no pun intended, and great pop escapism adventure. Wow! Check is in the mail, Joe. Check is in the mail, Crazy Cat. Click the link. Go check it out. Uh, Demon possessed robots art. We gotta see it. Yup. 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 Whoa, wait. What happened? Hell Art. Show the Malin launch last. I didn't know Malin was launching something last night. Nobody tells me anything. Cisco Beast, Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Wilbur Wooster, Wilberforce Wooster. What's up, my friend? Woot work. Let me try to catch up. Oh, I see what you're doing in that first panel. No, I assure you it's not what you think. You dirty minded. There it is right there. Just the way it worked out, man. Oh, if you think those action speed lines are overdone, look at some of those manga books. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Darren, missed you last night. No pontificators, man. Morning art, another great page. Glad you got your computer working, my friend. Am I caught up? Is it possible? Is it possible? People don't talk enough about the collaborations between Alan Moore and Rob Liefeld. I think I worked on one of those books. Glory, I think it was Brandon Peterson was the penciler. Alan Moore was the writer. I think that's possibly the only book I ever worked on that Alan Moore worked on. Gotta leave soon for Psycho. What is that? Fiscos? On my poor right shoulder. Oh, like physical training. Will get better. Let me finish. I don't know if we're gonna have time to finish this panel. I've been talking too much, and I still got some stuff I want to show you guys. Let me see. I'm gonna throw some. I just use a Sharpie. Throw some black in here. So you can kind of see how it'll come together. In the old days, this would all be done with a brush, but like I said, my hands being what they are today, I find it less painful. So there's that. So you can start seeing the design and how it comes together as a graphic. It's a little harder to see when there's partial pencil and then ink. Wow, that's looking pretty good. I love it when a plan comes together. Believe it or not, Pamela is a huge A-Team fan. Huge. When I met her, she had all the episodes taped. Remember when we used to tape our favorite TV shows? The key to using a Sharpie, you guys, is realize they expand slightly. So the ink will expand on the page. And so you don't want to spend too much time on the edge of a line because it'll dirty your line up. So you got to be a little careful using them. But you can see how he's starting to push out from the one dimension to a more two-dimensional existence. Boom, baby. Kind of a strange completionist that a pencil drawing doesn't feel like it's done to me until I get some ink on it. And then this whole section here, it doesn't look connected, but I wanted these guys to be in shadow. One, they're bad guys, and bad guys should always be in shadow. They're ashamed, trying to hide. So kind of coming together. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do all of this because I got a half hour left. If I stop talking, maybe we could get there. But I'm not. Ha ha! Take that, sucker. So there you can kind of see it starting to pop. See the design, of the black shapes, how they're starting to come together. In the previous two black and white issues, I didn't do a lot of heavy black shapes, but in this one, I am definitely doing that, as you can tell. So then I wanted to hint a little bit that there was that the light source was on his right, our left. We put more of a heavy shadow on this side of his face, also to make it look less symmetrical, less formal. Because, like I said earlier, if you have two things that are perfectly the same, then it becomes boring. And we don't want our comics to be boring. We want our comics to come off the page, smack you right in the face. At least that's my goal. Some people might like quiet, coffee shop drama. Not this guy. I want in your face action. I'm going to block this one in with the marker. Live on the wild side. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to find my pens first. They're all over the place now. Oh my gosh, where are they? If you guys ever want to get serious work done, don't put a camera up. And you start talking to people, and before you know it, it's taking you forever. So I thought I would block this in with this pen. I don't trust the Sharpie with these kind of edges. I'm basically just thickening up the edge of the line. Also, the less wear and tear you can put on your pins, the better. So you can fill these shapes with those pins, but you're going to wear your tip down faster. So let your Sharpie or your brush do all the heavy lifting. They're cheaper to replace. So there he is without the rendering. So pretty much all the black shapes are blocked in. Got the steering wheel to do, but that's the guy. So I'm going to see if I can ink this guy relatively quick. And I have some robot, like real world robot stuff I want to show you. It's pretty cool. I like I just like creativity in all of its different incarnations, building stuff, making things, you know. Um, and so I came across this video the other day, and it was pretty cool. So I'll share it with you guys. You might have already seen it, um, but it might be cool to see again, especially with my dazzling commentary. Okay. So I think I got this guy pretty much structured up. Okay. So while I have this pen in my hand, I'll block this guy in real quick. So one of the things I like to do is when you have your hand in a certain and the page in a certain angle, I find it rhythmically, and it also helps with speed to kind of just do it all at the same time. So your hand is used to working a certain way. So then I can turn it, and then I can find all these angles here. So it goes a little faster. Trust me, you guys, this is incredibly hard to do, but I make it look easy. It's just me trying to be funny. I know some people are like, yeah, it's been doing this so long, it's easy. I don't know. For me, it always seems like a challenge. Use a big line. I'm using the thicker pin right now. So, do. He's kind of fading into the background black shapes. So some people are able to do this without flipping the page around. Not this guy. All right, so I got all the thicker areas done. So I can go and do some of these secondaries. Let me see. This might be too thin. Where's my pen that's a little thicker? Where is it? Did I drop it? Probably dropped it. Oh no, there it is. Ha ha! Ha ha! I found you. Yes, this will do nicely. So the reason I didn't ink that line before is because I wanted it thinner. These little circular shapes because I wanted them thinner. And so with this, I can go in and do the more precision detailed stuff. So get this line here. Connect this one. And it comes behind that shape. So we got this. Little detail here. So I believe that's pretty much blocking them all in. I can do some of this shadow stuff. And let's do some of this ruled stuff. I got the bigger, thicker marker. You can do this with the thinner one, but you'd have to double and triple up the lines. It'd take you a lot more time. So like I was saying with the other, kind of keep it all like lined up while you have the page in a certain area. Just kind of do all the lines at the same time. So all these lines here going in at the same time. And let's do these. Easy breezy. Yeah, I got some of these. Oh, there's one thing about even with these markers, it can take a little bit of time to dry. So if you're moving the template, dragging it over what you've already inked, sometimes it'll make a mess. It'll smudge it. So let me find my top. So there's pretty much the panel. So the next page for black and white should be done by day's end. I still gotta finish penciling that panel, and then I got a couple details left to do on the top three. I thought her face came out kind of cool. Let me see if I can get the camera to. I'm not sure about the shadows. Like some of the stuff I gotta work out. Sometimes I'll scan this stuff and I'll bring it into Photoshop and I'll just play with it in Photoshop. I used to, in the past where something wasn't working or I wanted to test something out, I would make a Xerox copy of the page and then I would take the Sharpies in and I would like put black shapes into the copy to try to figure out, you know, where the black shape should go. So there it is, you guys. So as promised, let me find my tab. Grab some water first. Oh, let me see. Grab my glasses. My glasses. Oh, it looks like we got past master in. Whoa! This thing's moving like crazy. You guys are awesome. All right, Rob Liefeld mentioned you in one of his recent pod streams of how good an inker you were in the pool of inkers that came through the 90s. Well, thank you, Rob. That was very, very kind of you. You didn't have to say that. I appreciate it. Hail the Sharpie! Yeah. Sometimes it's a necessary evil. Wow, Pedro, it seems like it's been forever. Oi, oi. At the car shop, checking out art at work. Cool. Hope all's doing well, man. Marcus says, feel better. Oh, Rachel. Yeah, yeah. Hope your shoulder or whatever it was. Yeah. My right shoulder has been affecting my poor drawing arm. I love using a brush. Yes. There's something kind of romantic, I guess, about it. Oh, and you guys, listen to Crazy Cat. When he tells you to go back a book, man. He don't lie. Being your own boss, you can see your own pace. Yeah. Eh. You can set. You can set your own pace. Yeah. We get ya. Okay, laters. Yeah, go take care of your shoulder. Thanks for hanging. Past Master. Hell, Archie Bear, hella chat and hit that like. Yes, please. And follow Psychology by Rachel. Yeah, go do that. Let's see, Bernardo, Art, do you like a black shadow a la a Norse? I Yeah, I think you can do both. I think it doesn't always have to just be a solid black. It would be easier sometimes, but like I'm starting to kind of get more like that. Like with all this stuff is all hinted at, the black background. It's kind of inset, so I felt like I could do something a little different and just make it black. Also, this is happening at dusk. So the sun is starting to go away. So I can bring more black shadows and shapes in because night is soon coming. Let's do screen share. All right. Boop, 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 boop. All right. This is, I don't know how you guys feel about Disney. To be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about Disney. And so, wait, you know what? Do. Okay. That's not it. All right. So, yeah, this is a site. I don't know. I think it's a Disney site. New Robotic. Yeah. So this is some Disney guy, and he's gonna get.
Now to see our team's progress, arcs of imagination.
So we don't need all this stuff. I'm just going to show you the highlight.
At the center of this all is the Swiss Federal Institute.
So he's added like a Swiss, like Disney doesn't really create
including a shared
PhD
anymore.
program.
To cover
they
all
partner with a lot of
disciplines from
different
Harvard
companies.
to smart software. This
So this
team
is
here
a,
is a leader in creating
basically a
the next
computer
generation of robots.
Company.
We have one
And so
unified
one of
goal,
many
building
things they do
artist-centric
is they're
technology
building
to
some
tell
new
new stories with
I'm Olaf.
Hey, Olaf.
And you are.
I'm
So
Josh,
they're
Olaf. So good to
creating
see you. You
characters
look
that
amazing.
can roam
Mhm.
Park. So where before
Olaf's
they'd
one
have
of
to have
our
a
most
full-size
popular
human being in a
characters. He
suit.
shows up in
They can actually
parades,
do
in live
these
entertainment shows, as
characters
well as in character
in
meet and greets.
scale.
So the demand to bring him to our parks is off the charts. We're excited to announce Olaf will be available in
So it's
both of
pretty
our
cool.
Frozen worlds in Hong Kong and Paris early next year.
I can't even imagine this. Like seeing people meet Olaf for the first time in his form. I think this is going to be just incredible. A really, really
it's pretty
inspiring
neat.
day.
I'm gonna turn this.
Hands down, this is the best.
Yeah, you
day
can
of my
take his
life.
arms and his nose off. Pretty strange. So this is the new park that they're building in Paris.
Hi, Michelle. I am so excited to be here.
I'm super excited too. It's so wonderful to see World of Frozen come to life and come
I
to
think
life
that's
in a
pretty
whole new
cool.
way.
I mean, we got to remind ourselves that's a robot.
Olaf.
It's incredible. We're going to have next generation robotics characters, and this is the latest cutting.
That thing probably weighs
Oh,
300
Oh my
pounds.
gosh, you're here.
We were just talking about you.
So excited to see you. I can't believe you're here in the world of Frozen.
It's pretty
so many
neat.
people that are super excited to see you here.
Mhm.
I mean,
Walt
it's
Disney Imagineering
next
and
level
Sound Development
stuff.
did Such a beautiful job on creating this Olaf.
I mean, it
It's a
walks-
movie character. And it's
it
really a
walks in
symbiosis
character and
between
acts
the latest
like
in
the
technology and storytelling. And I can't wait for our guests to see Olaf in real life.
So it's
I
not
know
just
our
like this
guests and
weird,
fans are just
sterile,
gonna absolutely love this.
generic thing.
We're here in Glendale, California, at the headquarters for Walt Disney Imagineering in the R&D facility.
Yes.
We have this huge legacy of building and bringing our
He didn't
Yeah,
have an
we don't
army,
need
but
all
led them
this.
to incredible worlds, innovative and technology-driven company that it is.
the diversity of the work that we get to test character. Can we get
Yeah, this
two
thing's
legs
kinda
to do
cool. Look at this.
stardust walking? We have characters that express emotion through motion. So stylization is important, artistic interfaces are important, and we embrace reinforcement learning as a technology very early on. Reinforcement learning is the way we learn.
There's a
actually
ton of
humans.
companies that
That's
are
an
doing
acronym
this
that
right
is
now.
simulation, and then teach them how to walk as if they were a young baby. We can do 10,000 hours worth of training in days.
That's
It used
where
to take us
AI
years
comes
to
in.
develop robots. Now, using reinforcement learning, we're able to bring those robots to life in mere months.
Months, you guys.
Espen, do you remember how I challenged you to create actually a first walking character?
That we've then been able to really build on. So this guy doesn't look anything like a BDX droid, but if you really look under the hood and look at what
Yeah, I'm
we're
sure that that's going to be
building on the
used for
same
some
technology, and so
character.
this is really what enabled us to then go and build the BDX droids.
We know how humans walk. And so the
Because
goal
I've
was
seen
then
stuff
to
like this
bring this
before,
motion
and
to
it
our
was
robots
like,
to make them feel
it was a prototype for the Spider-Man robot. It didn't have the skin on it or anything.
lifelike, and we want to have those robots also perform other motions. So our goal was not to have the robot learn only a
And this thing
single
looks like
task
it's a
from
little
animation,
ways
but be
away
able
because
to
the
perform
movement's
any
kind
motion that an
of
animator
wonky.
asks the robot to do.
But I
For
guess it
human
depends
motion,
on
we
the
first had to
character that is
target that
portraying
to the
too.
morphology that we
Because I'm
want. We
sure
want
that
these
with the
characters to be
AI and the
smaller,
way they
you get a lot of
design these things,
imperfection,
they're
but then in
a
reinforcement
character
learning, it still is able to learn from this
or
imperfection.
designed to be a certain character. Let me see.
While pretending to move forward.
This is the Michael Jackson moonwalk.
We used human examples of a moonwalk and trained then a policy that can actually do the same on the robot.
You create artistically a target motion, and it can.
It might be a mini
robots
Jackson
and
robot.
dynamically balances afterwards. That's amazing for taking the next steps.
We did great progress in this direction, but there's much
Pretty
more.
crazy.
The best technology in the world has always been core to enabling. We want people to believe, Olaf, the physical world.
That's right.
They'll experience
specific problems like NVIDIA, where they are building some of the most revolutionary computer chips that are going into our robots. And what that then allows us to focus on is that emotion, that connection that we are making with our
Yeah,
guests.
these are
And
actually in the park now,
the
these
BDX
little
joints, and then
BBX.
playing it back so
The
that they can
BDX.
get an authentic droid-like sound. We couldn't focus.
I think
on
if
that.
they could populate that to
Silicon,
Galaxy's
building our
Edge
own
with
chips
more of
that
this
would bring
stuff,
those robots to life. So NVIDIA has been a great partner. to
just so
help
there's
us
a
do that
semblance
work
of
on the
life
physical products, but also
and energy,
in
it could be
simulation.
a lot better.
We're really excited to.
All right. There's a lot of stuff in here that's not robotic per se.
Able to bring him from an idea to a
All
reality.
right, this
in
one's
just a
cool.
short
They've already
9
done
months.
this before.
And that required Imagineering.
This is Herbie
also
from the
our live
Fantastic Four
entertainment group,
movie.
Artists, engineers, designers, scientists, character performers, all working together to bring this character to life. But in the film, the prop they used on set didn't actively balance. So we had to create a robot that could be in front of our guests that came to life like a character.
Like they put all this
while
time in and they didn't even use it
inside
for the
Herbie are
movie.
a variety of sensors that measure his angle, position, and speed. And 250 times per second, it's checking those sensors and constantly micro adjusting that ball to keep him upright.
And continue balancing even when we play back fun animations.
Crazy.
Moving his arms that much and outstretching them really changes the center of the mass of the character. Being able to constantly adjust and still keep alive and play those animations really is a pretty cool technical feat. What I love about Herbie is he's got so many little details. and
It's
Easter
a
eggs, whether it's those read text
drawn
and
character
labels,
that's now
part
three-dimensional.
numbers,
You can
their
interact
references
with
to
it.
the cinematic
It's
universe,
insane.
even his really expressive tape.
I know
reader
Disney
face.
gets blasted
Every
a lot,
detail of
but
this was lovingly
stuff is
crafted
pretty
with the filmmakers to
incredible.
make Herbie brought to life. Our guests just loved talking to Herbie, interacting with Herbie, and we are so excited that we were able to bring him to life at Disneyland Park in Tomorrowland. Nice job, Herbie.
more and more, we want to be able to deliver these characters in their actual form that you see them.
Pretty cool. They walk like ducks.
Streaming faster into the parks.
With our most recent robot, Herbie, which we brought day and date with the Fantastic Four movie rollout, we went from concept to design and in the park in months.
Yes, I remember we were
In
at Pinewood
months they
Studios
did
and we
that.
met with Matt,
Crazy.
the director. He actually told us he redesigned Herbie to not just be hovering constantly, but to be on a ball balancing so it could go to Disneyland. The minute we heard that, we of course had
We
to
had to
say,
do it.
we got to do it.
All that wish fulfillment that any of our guests.
I wonder how many millions of
of
dollars go into just creating these things.
And
Just
the actual animators
put them in
who
the
animate
park. Like,
films can actually
seems
help
like
animate these figures, which was not the case. in the
you would
past.
use them a lot more than you do. They must not be 100% reliable and a little finicky.
I have to say,
And I understand that. I mean, they're
I
it's
think
brand
this
new
is a great story
technology.
of how what was created here as a prototype.
In Glendale, I saw one of these. It was a prototype at the time, and I couldn't believe what I saw. The character that was coming out.
I mean, these
of the
things will
droid.
be probably within the next 10 years populate that
It took
park.
us less than a year to go from concept to 3 droids that we brought to the park for the first time. We actually brought spatial AI. We put cameras into these robots so they can actually see as a means to understand the environment, including our guests. And obviously, guests in our parks, we want to have very meaningful interactions.
Pretty cool.
One important item with a BDX
They can see you.
is to bring more autonomy to these characters in general.
That's nuts. Anyway,
First,
let's move on.
Stages where the droids can perform.
world. Jarvis was our first opportunity to take and digitize all of that data and be able to give it to an Imagineer at their fingertips so that they could move more quickly.
That's human size. When you see this move through
Here's the
the air,
Spider-Man
spin,
Stuntronic.
and drop into a net, I think we can actually do a Spider-Man character. But it also weighs about 150 pounds, full-size character. This robot, so that's Spider-Man in a nutshell.
That's pretty cool. It's a robot,
In a web.
an acrobatic robot.
We started with Lucky the Dinosaur, and we've gone
Old
through
school, baby.
Alex, it was way too noisy.
Do with this kind of robot. So in this case, you'll see that she can do a pirouette. A big challenge there is that the foot basically needs to slide while doing the pirouette.
If you wanted to get such performances at the limits of hardware to such characters, what's
I wonder
important
what
for achieving
characters
that
these are
goal?
going to
These robots,
play.
they learn how to do all their moves with reinforcement learning, and that happens in simulation. So basically what you need is a
Reinforcement
good
learning,
simulator to be able to
simulation,
fix something.
AI.
There's no space the joint, so they'll have to
Crazy.
remotely actuate the joint through some linkages, and these are quite challenging to simulate accurately. That's why our robot has about 10 years of practice in simulation within the reinforcement characters.
Right, this one right here, this is a little iffy. You guys can kind of chime in, see how you feel about
Walt
this.
Disney Imagineering Research and Development, figuring out how we combine real-time front projection with a mechanical head.
And this front projection is actually being done with just a purely static shell. There is no movement inside the face, yet we're still able to get that
It's
very
pretty convincing.
micro expression through that front projection.
The texturing that we can get by using front projection is really incredible. The detailing on the skin, we can play around with
It
figures,
still
we can
it still
change the
has this
material properties,
uncanny
we can
valley,
do
but they can
transformations
change.
that we've
See, they
never
can
been
do
able to
that.
before.
Now, what if it
You can
was
actually have a
more
Marvel
Battlestar,
character,
a little
X-Men
more
or something
hardened,
like.
and he gets cut right
Hey,
across the face.
look, they could
So
cut
much of this
you.
innovation is how we make these characters as real
They
as
could
humanly
change the
can,
skin. So
so
you could
that we
actually
can
have one of
relay
these
the emotion
robots
that they're feeling to the
possibly
guests, so that we
change
can all be in
form.
that story together and have it be real.
Absolutely.
That's what I think is cool about it. And to be honest, Universal's already
These
done
AR
this
markers are picked
in
up by
their
calibration cameras.
Monsters
They
Unchained.
translate those markers in the physical world to the same positions in the digital world, matching.
So
them
this is
perfectly.
kind
Software
of
we're
Disney
using to calibrate
behind
this figure
the
is
curve,
software that
but
we've
I'm
developed
sure they're
right
going
here
to
in Walt
use
Disney
it.
Imagineering. It's the same
Um,
software that's used in the Millennium
you like
Falcon
you
attraction.
can
We
have the
wanna make
character
sure that their
more.
registration is absolutely perfect.
So they're just
and
showing
Ron helps
skin
us get that done.
changes, but you could have it do all kinds of stuff.
We're here at R&D diving in. No
So that's pretty much. I just thought since we were talking about robots, it might be fun to get in some real world stuff. Let me see where you guys at, and then I'm going to check out. Listen to Past Master, please hit that like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. All right, Ocean View, get to work, you lazy bum. I was working. Ocean View, jeez. Merry Christmas. Yes, right back at you. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving as well. Click this link. Thank you so much, Crazy Cat, for putting these links in the description. This is for my new book, Sins of the Father, Volume 3. Go check it out. Image stealing would be a more apt name. Chow CG. And Proby is saying, I hear Disney is renewing Bob. Yeah. They got bad leadership, man, but they're still doing some impressive stuff. Thank goodness for different divisions. This is stuff is getting crazy. Next we're going to get Terminator Robots Universal, by the way. Those ones in the suits are pretty damn convincing. Next year we're going to Epic Universe. I got invited by one of the people in the chat here to go to Epic Universe when they had those press nights or whatever the heck they were called. But my back I'm not in travel shape. Not yet. I've been kind of working out. Let's see what Joe says. That is crazy. We are going to see this next year because we're also going to Disney World. Also, when we get to Epic Universe, yeah, that Monsters Unchained attraction looks amazing. Reynolds says, "Woo, morning art." Yeah, right now we're noon. We're noon o'clock. All right, you guys. Well, it was good. It was good getting back in the saddle, hanging out with you guys. You guys are always a blast to kill time with. I hope you liked the inks. Hope you like black and white. And I always say this, but I'm gonna try to do more of these and just get them, because it's kind of like working and hanging. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone. And as long as you guys like it, I'll keep doing it. And if you do like it, hit that like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and help get the word out. Post on your social media that I'm drawing. It all does help. And thanks again for all the support on Black and White Volume 3. I do appreciate it. Every one of you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.